Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'll be doing another book haul video, and I decided to skip the month of December mainly because I was not really here for about a few weeks and I was sick and just busy, and now I'm finally back, so I'm just going to do a book haul for January. Anyways, let's just get right into it. So to start this off, I'll be going through my BookBox haul from December 1st, and I received this, technically it arrived like end of December during Christmas, but I was away with family and I didn't come back until sometime in January, so I didn't actually open it until then. The first book that I received is my women's fiction pick, and that is The Paris Secret by Karen Swan. I don't know anything about this book, but according to this flap, it says,
how does a whole apartment get forgotten? And how does someone who forget about the hundreds of rare and expensive paintings that are in that apartment? That is what Flora is going to find out. We love the story of a young woman's search to discover the past and protect the people that may be a part of her future. As she navigates the exclusive art world and uses her connection to put the pieces together, you will love where the Paris story takes you, and it will have you dreaming of visiting small village art galleries all over France.
So, as always, there is a note from the author. And it says,
Dear reader, a writer knows they're not a good thing when a writer knows they're onto a good thing when I have no idea what that says. When a tutor, I have no idea, comes to them.
Okay, clearly this is not going to go well. I can't read this handwriting at all, so I'm just going to skip this. But I'm really excited for this. Actually, it was interesting because I was just in France. That's where I was actually. So this book will be really interesting for me. I was not in Paris. I was in south of France this time. I went to Paris many years ago, but this book seems promising and the cover looks really pretty. And this is the little pamphlet that they always give us with all the other options. So moving on to my second book, the young adult fiction pick this time was The Truth Beneath the Lies by Amanda Sirki, and according to the bookmark, it says,
let's be honest, it's hard to find a mystery that completely blows you away. If you're anything like us, you've been reading Agatha Christie and watching the newest cop drama for years. We all know the tricks. Yet this brilliant book had us fooled. Kayla and Betsy are two characters you know so well, but then do you really know them? The less we tell you, the better. Cancel your plans and read this book in one sitting. Trust us.
So this sounds really promising already, and hopefully this note would be better for me. Oh, it's a long one. So the author says,
Dear reader, many years ago, a series of horrific crimes shook my community. On one of the news reports, a little girl stood in the background looking bewildered. The mother she had barely known was the victim of a man who murdered women living on the streets and struggling with addiction. Kayla's story comes from that little girl. I couldn't stop thinking about her, what her life could have been like if things had been slightly different. Who would she have become if her mother had gotten help and gotten clean? What if they still lived in that dangerous world with a killer on the loose? Betsy's story started with a place. San Justo, Texas is fictional, but it's inspired by a real town and the people who live there. I was always welcomed with open arms and a meal, and I couldn't think of a better place for Betsy to be as she tries to heal. I am so honored to present this book to you. It was messy and hard and brain-twisting to write, but I loved every moment of it. Hope you enjoy it.
So this book sounds really interesting. It's kind of a young adult thriller novel, so it seems like I got lucky this time. I got 3 genres: young adult, thriller, and a woman's fiction. Anyways, moving on to the special item that my book box usually comes with. This time, I'm not really sure what this is, to be honest. I received this thing. I've lived 1,000 lives. Wait, is this a pillowcase? No, it's not a pillowcase. I don't know what this is. I have no idea. If someone can tell me in the comments below, I would greatly appreciate it. It just seems like a handkerchief or something, a cloth. I'm not really sure what this one is, to be honest. Well, the graphic looks pretty, at least, right? Yeah? Okay. Well, that's basically what I got for December. Moving on to the other books I got for January. So the next book I received for January is a book that I have been eyeing for a while now, ever since I saw the cover, and I'm really excited that it came in the mail for me, and that is The Glass Bear by Lauren DeStefano. And this book looks so pretty. I mean, look at this cover here. And according to the flap, it says,
Wilhelmina Hidley, I'm pretty sure I butchered her name, the fourth child and only daughter of the king of the world's wealthiest nation, has grown up in the shadows, kept hidden from the world in order to serve a spy for her father, whose obsession with building his empire is causing a war. Will wants nothing more than to explore the world beyond her kingdom, if only her father would give her the chance. Until one night, Will is attacked and she discovers a dangerous secret. Her touch turns people into gemstone. At first, Will is horrified by her power, but as she tests its limits, she's drawn more and more to the strange and volatile ability. When it leads to tragedy, though, Will is forced to face the destructive power within her, and finally leave her home to seek the truth and a cure. But finding the key to her redemption puts her on the path of a cursed prince who has his own ideas for what to do with Will's power. With the world on the brink of a war and power of ultimate destruction, can Will find a way to help the kingdom that's turned its back on her, and will she betray her past and her family forever?
so this book sounds really, really fascinating, and I love books like this, like fantasy and magical powers and abilities. So I'm really excited for this one, and it's first of a series, so I'm curious to see how this book goes. But that's it for this book. The next book is Before She Ignites by Jody Meadows, and it's signed actually, and it says, Stephanie, you are fire, which is pretty cool. Anyways, this book I have been eyeing for a really long time as well. The cover is absolutely gorgeous. Like, look at this. Look at this. It's part of the Fallen Isles trilogy, and there's a ton of random book swag in here, like some stickers, My Lady Jane, which is a good book by the way, some of her other books, some, I think these are like postcards, some more bookmarks, but yeah, so a bunch of book swag in this book. And according to the flap, it says,
Before, Mira Minkoba is the hope bearer. Since the day she was born, she's been told she's special, important, perfect. She's known across the Fallen Isles not only for her beauty, but for the peace treaty named after her, an agreement that united the 7 islands against their enemies on the mainland. But Mira never felt perfect. She counts compulsively. She struggles with crippling anxiety, and she's far too interested in dragons for a girl of her station. After. Then Mira discovers an explosive secret that challenges everything in the treaties stand for. Betrayed by the very people she spent her life serving, Mira is sent into the pit, the deadliest prison in the Fallen Isles. There, a cruel guard would do anything to discover the secret she would die to protect. No longer beholden to those who betrayed her, Mira must learn to survive on her own, and unearth scorching truths about the Fallen Isles and herself, before her very world collapses.
so it's really interesting. It looks so good, by the way, and I don't know, I have pretty high expectations. I read her other book, My Lady Jane, and I really, really enjoyed it. It's funny and sarcastic, which I loved, so I'm hoping that this book will be kind of similar in that kind of writing style, because I really enjoyed that one. The next book that I received this month is definitely one that I won from a giveaway. It's very helpful when the publisher themselves write a note to you telling that, congratulations, you won a giveaway. So it is called Whisper by Lynette Noni, and according to the back cover, it says,
For 2.5 years, Subject 684, Jane Doe, has been locked underground in a secret government facility, and in that time she hasn't uttered a single word, not even her real name. Now, in a last-ditch effort for her to get her to open up, the authorities have put her in the care of a mysterious Landon Ward. To Jane's surprise, Ward is kind. He seems to care about her. Jane's resolve begins to crack in spite of her best efforts to resist. Just as she's starting to think she might get her life back, a freak accident reveals her darkest secret and the dangerous powers she's concealed for years. When she speaks, things happen, and suddenly, finding her voice is a matter of life and death.
So it's suspenseful and magical, romance and mystery, and this book looks really good. The cover looks kind of like one of those sci-fi covers, but it doesn't seem like it's sci-fi. It seems to be more on the fantasy side, but I don't know. So far, for something, the back cover kind of reminds me of Shatter Me, with the whole, being locked up and not wanting to interact with people. Like for her, it's her voice, but for Shatter Me, it was like her touch. So feel like if it's similar to that, I might really like it, because so far I'm in the middle of reading Shatter Me series and I really enjoy it, so hopefully this book will be very similar to that. But according to this, it's not coming out until May 1st. So this is a very, very advanced reader's copy, I think. At least for me, it's pretty advanced. But it looks promising, so we'll see how that goes. So obviously by this point, I have also received my BookBox book for January. For a second, I forgot which month we're in. And as always, I picked women's fiction and young adult. So for my women's fiction pick, I received The Lost Season of Love and Snow by Jennifer Lamb, and this cover looks super pretty. It looks like a historical fiction right off the bat. So from this little bookmark, it says,
"We're suckers for historical fiction, especially when it's based in Russia." That's true. This mesmerizing story is based on the real life of Natalia, Alexander Pushkin's wife. She was a hated, prominent figure in Russia, but this novel gives her side of the story. We love getting inside the head of this incredibly resilient woman. Like her falling in love with this Pushkin prose, you'll become enamored with the way her story is told.
So historical fiction, I'm not super excited for, but when there is romance involved, I do tend to like it, so hopefully I will like this one. It's always a hit or miss, honestly. It's like 50-50 chance, but the cover looks really pretty, so I will give it my best. And the letter from the author here, it's super tiny writing.
"Dear reader, I'm captivated by the life and tragic death of Russia's greatest poet, Alexander Pushkin. He lived in the shadow of a ruthless imperial court and died after being wounded in a field of honor. The duel was fought over his wife Natalia, a legendary beauty said to have ruined Alexander with her thoughtless flirtations and lavish lifestyle. Something bothered me about that version of the story. As I began to research Natalia's life, I came to know and respect a woman of grace and intellect dealing with the tremendous pressures of the marriage market and her love for a brilliant, face-centric man. Even though it didn't end well, Natalia and Alexander's relationship struck me as a grand romance. In telling their story through Natalia's eyes, I wanted to show her strength in the face of scandal. I hope The Lost Season of Love and Snow inspires you to view your own life story through a sympathetic and gentle lens. Happy reading!"
Well, sounds promising. Now the last and final book that I received for January, as well as my last book that I received, aka my young adult fiction pick for my book box, I received Zenith by Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings. And this book has literally been on this YouTube feed for the longest time. I literally see everything about this book, and it's signed, by the way. It's a very big signed copy sticker on top. So where is the signature? Over here. So it's signed by both authors. But even though I have seen this book many times in the YouTube world, I actually don't really know what this book is about. And according to this little bookmark, as always, it says,
Androma Vasella, otherwise known by her more famous moniker, the Bloody Baroness, is a fearsome bounty hunter who, with her equally fearsome crew, are always on the hunt for their next bounty across the galaxy. That is, until she runs across a fellow hunter that has some links to her past. The first in an epic new space opera that left us dazzled and wanting more from this unique universe that Sasha Alsberg and Lindsay Cummings have created.
So right off the bat, this book reminds me of a mix between Star Trek and the TV series called Dark Matter. It's on Netflix, by the way, and it's really good if you haven't watched it already. And as always, there is the note from the author. It says,
"Dear reader, welcome aboard the Marauder. We are so happy to have you be a part of the crew. We hope you love reading our epic space opera, where we take you on a journey through the stars. So get strapped in, hold on to your weapons, and away we go."
So another interesting thing I just realized, the TV series I just mentioned, Dark Matter, their spaceship is also called the Marauder. Coincidence? I guess I'll have to read this book to find out. So as always, there's always that extra item that I get in my book box. And for January, I received this little cork journal. I don't want to open this because I might actually gift this out, but apparently it's lined pages and the covers are made from cork. So it looks really pretty, it looks very cute, and it'll be good for those who I think usually like write notes and stuff like that. I'm not that kind of person, but I definitely know a few friends who are, so I'll probably gift this to them. But anyways, that is it for my book haul for January. Let me know in the comments below if there are any books that I received this month that you really enjoyed or you're really excited to read. Do let me know in the comments. I'm really curious to know what everyone's up to these days. And as always, if you like this video, please do give me a thumbs up and subscribe down below. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram. But that's it for today, guys. Thank you. Bye.